Okay, so you purchased a rental property, you're collecting rent, you're cash flowing, but you might be overpaying on taxes by tens of thousands of dollars a year just because you're not using this one strategy called cost segregation. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how cost segregation works, who it's for, and the one tool that helps you stay organized so you never miss a deduction. Okay, so what is cost segregation? Let's start with the basics. When you buy a rental property, the IRS makes you depreciate that building over time. So it's usually 27.5 years for residential, 39 years for commercial, right? That's pretty slow. That means small deductions every year over a long period. But here's what most investors don't realize. Not everything in your property is the building itself, right? Think about it. The carpet, the appliances, the parking lot, the landscaping, light fixtures, these things wear out way faster than the structure itself. So cost segregation is a tax strategy that lets you separate or segregate those components from the building and depreciate them on a much faster schedule. So for example, 5, 7, or 15 years. To do this properly, you need a cost segregation study performed by a qualified firm. So they come in, they identify every asset inside your property, they reclassify them into the right depreciation buckets, okay? So these cost segregation studies typically cost between $5,000 and $15,000, but before you log off, because that's too expensive, it really depends on the size of the property, and the tax savings can easily be 10 times what you're going to pay for a study to be done. So according to Baselane's 2026 guide, these studies can accelerate the depreciation of 20 to 40% of your building's costs, so potentially saving you between $40K and $200K in first year taxes on a $1 million property. I will link the study in the description as well if you would like to see that. So let's kind of dig a little deeper. What is bonus depreciation? Now, here's where it gets really powerful. Once a cost segregation study has identified those short life assets, bonus depreciation lets you deduct their entire value in year one. So instead of spreading it out over 5 or 15 years, you can deduct the entire value all at once. So let's think about what this means with that $1 million property example. So let's say you buy a apartment complex and it costs you $1 million. A cost segregation study could reclassify 25% of that, or $250,000 worth, into a 5 and 15 year bucket, right? So into two different buckets, 5 and 15 years. With the 100% bonus depreciation, you get to write off that entire $250K in the first year. That's a massive paper loss that then offsets your rental income and potentially other income too. Now, let me pause and say, this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. Please consult with a CPA, a financial advisor, a cost segregation firm, all of the above, okay? But let's get into a little bit more information about what assets qualify. And then I'm going to tell you the tool that will make this easier for you as you go through this process. Okay, so what actually qualifies? The rule is a tangible property with a recovery period of 20 years or less. So the building structure, the walls, roof, foundation do not qualify. But here's what does qualify. So 5-year assets, appliances, carpeting, window treatment, specialized lighting, 7-year assets, office equipment, furniture, security systems, 15-year assets, parking lots, sidewalks, fencing, landscaping, and then what's called qualified improvement properties. So interior improvements to non-residential buildings like flooring, non-load bearing walls, and things like that. But the land is never depreciable, but everything else, fair game. So the building itself stays on that 27.5 or 39-year schedule, but everything else is fair game. So here's who cost segregation is best for. It's not for everyone, but it makes sense if you are a high income earner in a high tax bracket, you're a real estate professional for tax purposes, if you're a short-term rental owner like you do Airbnb, or if you're buying properties with a depreciable basis over $500K to $1 million, that's where the ROI really makes the most sense. Let's get into this tool that's going to make this a lot easier for you to keep track of everything so that you can use this strategy to your advantage. So y'all already know I use Baselane for banking, bookkeeping, and rent collection for my rental portfolio. It's like my financial hub for my rental finances. And recently, they just launched a cost segregation tracking feature. Now, here's something important I want to be crystal clear about. Baselane does not perform cost segregation studies. You'll still need to hire a qualified firm for that. What Baselane does is something equally important. It helps you track, manage, and maximize your depreciation once you have that study in hand. So honestly, that's where a lot of investors drop the ball. They get the study done and then they struggle to actually manage all those individual assets, depreciation schedules, and deductions across multiple properties. Spreadsheets don't do the trick. You really need a platform that's going to keep you on track. Additionally, it applies custom depreciation schedules. It also adjusts useful life and start dates and assumptions. So it has full flexibility so your schedules match what you and your CPA decide. Lastly, it tracks year to date and accumulated depreciation. So at tax time, you're not scrambling. You know exactly where every asset stands. There's no reason you should be trying to figure all of this out on your own because they've built this feature into the platform. So because it's part of Baselane's all-in-one platform, all of this lives alongside your banking, rent collection, and bookkeeping in one central place across all your properties. No more spreadsheet chaos, no more wondering, wait, when did I replace that HVAC in that unit? It's all there. So here's the bottom line. Cost segregation combined with 100% bonus depreciation is one of the most powerful tax strategies out there. And the best part is Baselane makes it easy to track, manage, and maximize every single depreciation deduction you're entitled to. Go to baselane.com/Kendra to get started. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments.